What's up, guys? Welcome to Crypto Cartel. Crypto is in trouble. Bitcoin sold off pretty heavily. It's looking like it's all over again. Or is it just all over before we're so back? We're going to take a look today. Arguably, there's been a downtrend and potentially a bear market. We said the altcoins were in a bear market, but is Bitcoin next to go into a bear market? We're going to take a look at that today. Um, and we're also going to take a look, is there some opportunities in altcoins as well? Is there, maybe some diamonds in the rough throughout all this carnage? So we're going to take a look at all that, do some live TA for you guys, and yeah, let's get into it.
All right, welcome guys. Today I want to talk about specifically Bitcoin, and we might just kind of dive into this one for for a few minutes. But I do want to talk about our first of all our Telegram group. If you were in our Telegram group, you'd be privy to this whole situation with Bitcoin that that we provided back on December 19th, right? And so this is the time when I started seeing Bitcoin showing signs of weakness, and usually it takes time for Bitcoin to pick a direction. I'll explain to you from last bull cycle to this bull cycle, but essentially back in 2000 and 2024, December 19th, so about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I gave you the scenario of us going down into the 85, 86K region, right? And obviously, this took time for me to perfect it, just as I saw price action with Bitcoin, right? So I talked about as go into the lower regions of the 90s, and if we don't hold that, then go into 84K to 86K region, which again could be a slow bleed if we don't find support, right? So that one came out back then, and then obviously over time, as I got to see more market structure within Bitcoin, I talked about that when we were here, right around this area, and I was already bearish here. But then when we got this higher high at 109, to me this just kind of looked like a double top, right? And then over time, I came up with, okay, so what levels are we going to be looking at? And essentially, this is what we have. We have this M pattern. If you zoom out here, this is an M pattern. It's a double top pattern. If you look at the RSI, I mean, it's showing clear signs of bearishness, and this is when I started to get bearish back on mid-December. On that wick there, we dumped, we came back up, we retested, we couldn't cross this blue line that I talked about multiple times in our group. So I gave that to you. This was a great short entry, which personally I did miss that one. But we were talking about this short for for the last few 2-3 months, right? And what's next, right? What's next for Bitcoin? Let's talk about that. Uh, what we're seeing so far is this, like I said back in December, the slow bleed, right? And currently, what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, and I already highlighted this, is that rejection around 89 to 90K. Okay. Just because of this one here, we could see a rally within the next 2-3 days that maybe goes all the way up to 91, 92. And I think that would be pivotal for us to really understand if we're going higher or lower, right? But I will personally tell you from what I can see in the charts is that we're actually going to go lower. And again, I'll explain why. When we start looking at the weekly, and like I said, this is pivotal, we're losing the 21 moving average, right? And that's kind of a big deal. And then when we start looking at the 2 week, this was, I think, a clear scenario of bearish divergence where a lot of people, I think, ignored it. We're making higher highs in price and lower highs in RSI and in the stochastic RSI. So let me give you an example of what happened 2024 in February, right? We peaked and then we just kind of, we went sideways, and this is the 2 week time frame. Okay. So we came down and we went sideways or a little lower from, February, March, all the way down to September. So that's about what, like 6 months in a consistent downtrend, building a flag, right? I was still bullish here. We took a nice long on this one, and we pumped. However, this is I think this is pretty big. We are turning the MACD into, we could go red here, which means that we may have a few months of just a bit of downtrend or sideways action, right? I can't tell you too far into that, but that's what this indicator is saying. But also, there was bearish divergence. This is bearish divergence. This is almost like a reversal in a sense, right? Same thing happened here, and I'll show you as an example. We're making lower lows in price action, and look at that, higher highs in RSI, and that was a reversal, right? Essentially, it's the same thing here, but I'm not ready to call it quits for Bitcoin that we're going to enter a bear market, not yet at least. So we'll see that in the next few weeks. But what I am seeing for Bitcoin is definitely something like this. Um, so like I said, we maybe go sideways here, retest the 90s and come back down and let it like be a slow chop all the way down to maybe 84 to 82K, right? And I'll give you an example of what that kind of looks like. It's possibly something like this right here, right? We go ahead, we dump, we lose the support, we retest, we go higher high, and then not higher high, I'm sorry, we retest, and then we just continue to kind of just cook downwards, right? And essentially that's what I could see. Again, this is just for the 80 section, right? We could see a slow downtrend, go up and down, up and down. Ideally, I would like to see in the 4 hour, which is a great zone, bullish divergence, right? Making higher lows on the RSI, then making lower lows in the price action. Um, so that would be, again, ideal over time. But if we don't hold the 80s, essentially I see us coming back down all the way to the 70s, right? And I've had this in the group for the last 3 months, and on the green right here is the 786, which coincides with us retesting support essentially. So maybe wicking down to like 73, 72K at most, like 70. But to me, this is an area where I would be looking at to go long, like very heavy, right? Um, Again, that's if we respect the eight. That's if we don't respect the 80s. If we do respect the 80s, then I expect to see some bullish divergence, and it'll be very clear uh, for for us to see that. And if it's very clear and we see it, then that's going to be an actionable thing, right? So then go ahead and put some longs into the market. So if you guys want to get those uh, that live technical analysis and that signal, obviously you join our Telegram, and we'll provide those updates there. So that's what I have for Bitcoin right now. Not super bullish. Again, if we claim the 90s region and we still go sideways and then we pop, great, we're good to go. But I am leaning bearish as I have over the last few months. Let's see what happens here, and we'll talk about it again at the end of this week to see how our weekly candle closes. Because again, I think this is very crucial in terms of, do we close above the 21 MA or below? So let's just say in the scenario that we do close below the 21 MA, I could see something like this, right? We see the 21 MA there. We close below it. It's probably going to retest it, right? And then we're going to continue to go on a downtrend. Very likely, there's a high likelihood of that happening, right? But we'll just leave you with that for now. There's obviously some scenarios there that you still have to see how it plays out. But like I said, most likely, in my opinion, rejection in the 90s, and we probably go back down into the mid 80s, possibly 82, and then hopefully continue to rise from there. Other than that, 70s. So, any thoughts? Do you want to share your screen, Henry, for Bitcoin?
Yeah, definitely agree with everything you said. Like, it's not looking as bullish as it was 2 days ago. Just like market structure is potentially changing before our eyes, right? Like, let me know if you see my screen.
Yep.
Awesome. So, I definitely agree with everything you said. I think the bearish signs were there. The M pattern, double top, whatever you want to call it. I think arguably we're still in this range, and we just have to, like what you said last, like just see where the week closes and more importantly, the monthly. Uh, the monthly. This is an ugly monthly here. Like you want to see a bigger wick than that. Like maybe back up to 93 at least, which feels pretty far away now. And basically, I have two scenarios. Like we get back above 92, 93, and we're back in the range, and this was just all a retest of range low, or we go back to 90, 92, 93, or not even maybe just 91, bearish retest of the underside of the range, and then we're back. Then we go to Goblin Town, like you said. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not in the business of predicting, but what I can say is that momentum indicators are starting to look like they could flip bearish. This is a 3-day EMA trend, and you can see it's coming pretty close to flipping here. And I think what's going to happen is what you said, like it gets underside retest, and there's three things markets do. They're either in an uptrend, they're either trending or they're sideways, right? They're either uptrend, downtrend, or sideways. So we had our uptrend, now we got our sideways. And is this the start of like a downtrend? I don't know yet. I think I'm kind of like in wait and see mode, but that's kind of the scenario that I have. And I think below 85, 86, more price action there, acceptance down there. I think it's for me, it would be like a confirmed downtrend, breakdown of the range. So that's kind of where we're at with Bitcoin. I want to turn over to altcoins and what a rough start to the year it's been. So you can see here, this is sector performance, and Bitcoin, as the leading coin is the benchmark, and it's down 5.8%. And everything else is just a sea of red, basically. Like this is like the kind of market where there's nowhere to hide, really. And unless you bought Maker or FTM to start the year, you're basically down. Or if you were in cash, right, or short. But I think definitely not the start that most of the market was expecting, especially with all the bullishness around Trump, right? But I think what we've seen is Trump has kind of added a lot of uncertainty to the market. So, I think equities are starting to struggle because of that. And then at the same time, everyone thought that he was gonna do the Bitcoin strategic reserve on day one, and slowly over time, things have kind of been priced in to match reality. And the market overswings on both directions. Like it gets optimistic. There's going to be a point that it gets overly pessimistic. Maybe it is that retest that you were saying down here of 75. I think I would just buy, with my eyes closed and not look at it for a couple of years. And I don't think we're going below the 70s. I think that would be, unless something really bad happens, right? But
Yeah.
so I think that's kind of where we're at, and the market's basically making in the process of making a decision, and it's looking like it wants to decide to go lower. But let's see how the end of the week and end of the month look. But I do think there are still basically the way I'm looking at this now is like we're in a bear market, and what do you do in a bear? You take your small wins, and you also accumulate like long-term winners. So I think there are some signs like of long-term winners. There's definitely some coins I think that I'm looking at buying for, and just DCAing for the long term, because I do think I think Bitcoin does end the year higher probably, but there's going to be a lot of pain in between. So that's kind of where I'm at. Any thoughts on that, Alex?
Yeah, yeah. So, in terms of, I think, alts, uh, I mean, personally, again, in my opinion, I I'd like to see. I think we haven't. I mean, we had a really bad flush over the last few days for alts, right? But I'm not feeling very confident in terms of. I think we've already talked about this over the last streams. I'm not confident on all alts. I am confident on a few alts, right? That when Bitcoin recovers, these alts are also going to do really well. But I'm starting to shift this mentality of I think we might turn into a market where the only thing that's going to end up surviving is going to be Bitcoin, and I think that's about it, right? Um, just because of the way alts have been acting. We've been in this market since 2017, right? We've watched these altcoins do amazing numbers up until 2021. And then now it's just, to me, this has been uncharted territory since last year, right? Since we had that alt season from 2023 November to like 2024 March, right? And I don't, as I'm looking at some of these charts, again, just the indicators in general, I see more bullishness in Bitcoin rather than the altcoins. And that's where I'm starting to shift my mentality, like where we may enter a scenario where Bitcoin just is going to suck everything out of alts. I'm not saying that's going to happen anytime soon, but maybe by the end of the year, maybe when we see a Bitcoin reversal, So that's a working theory, but I mean, again, more to come, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what people forgot is altcoins are just a tool to get more Bitcoin because everything else except Bitcoin is a proof of concept. Even Ethereum, even Solana, you know, most of these things, there's really no reason to own the token to like use the product. I mean, I guess for L1s you do use it for gas, but there's really no proven demand for anything outside of Bitcoin. So at the end of the day, what you're trying to do with altcoins is you're just trying to capture the point, and it is always a temporary point that they're outperforming Bitcoin because Bitcoin it doesn't need to be upgraded. I mean, it doesn't need to be maintained, but it's perfect the way it is, right? And that's what's getting mainstream adoption. None of these other alts are really getting that. So that's kind of why it's good to pay attention to this benchmark because if you're not outperforming Bitcoin, if you're not uh, accumulating more Bitcoin based on your trading activity, then you're just doing it wrong. Uh, but I do think certain pairs, and that's why I emphasize like pair trading. I think certain pairs do look decent against Bitcoin, especially the assets like that are up for potential ETFs. So one of the ones that did start outperforming recently was Litecoin. It's one I'm looking at, and this one's been around I think since like 2013 or 2014. Down only, but what's the point of an alt? It's to capture these little bursts, buy here, sell it here, and get yourself some more Bitcoin, basically. Uh, so to me, this I did see it gave like a bullish trigger here on the weekly, and it has been one of the stronger alts this year. Let me see if it's on here. No, I don't think it is, but it's definitely it decoupled from Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it's up on the year. Is there any sector you're looking at, Alex, in terms of potential? Because just as easily as we broke down out of the range, I think Bitcoin could, in theory, break back into the range and get acceptance, and then we're back in like a bull regime, right? I think some news would have to come out or something bullish would have to come out for that to happen. But is there anything that you're kind of looking for in case that happens?
Yeah, yeah. So here, let me share my screen really quick. And I don't. I like to obviously I love bull runs. Everybody loves bull runs, but I'm not. I'm seeing more downside. I'll be sincere, and just by looking at the charts, to me we're just going to see some lower lows, right? And then that's where we're gonna get more setups. So I'm going to tell you off the bat right now. If we need to come down all the way down on the 2 week, right? And yeah, once we're down here, I'll be ready to do some more business in terms of prepping for longs, right? Because as you can see here, we had this long downtrend on the 2 week. We came all the way down here and then we ripped again. I'm actually kind of expecting the same thing here, right? Especially in this scenario, I'm expecting us to come down here, maybe whatever, maybe wake all the way to like 68, 69, and then do some more business there. But I think in terms of the macro perspective of looking at it in the long term, I'm out. Like I'm not investing any long term hodls. Um, again, look at that. The MACD, we're coming very close to closing into the
So
red.
basically, you're saying this is like that was the top. This is the start of if you zoom out, like where Bitcoin went from like 60K to 20. You're saying we're at the beginning of that.
So I'm not going to make that allegation quite
Well, that's
yet,
how
but I
you're
do want to
talking
show
about
you something.
positioning yourself.
Well, I mean, until I see us respect and create bullish divergence on Bitcoin, I'm not touching anything, right? So to me, it's a matter of just waiting,
Yeah.
just to see what happens, right? But I do want to share, and I think we talked about this last time, and it's let me just, and it's very interesting, right? Because we were talking about, let me get rid of that. So we were talking about how long these two peaks lasted, right? And we peaked around, March 1st, 2021, and then our dump started at around November 2021, right? So that was a total of about 252 days, right? And then if we take that same scenario here, right, from this peak right here, and then we dumped all the way to this peak, that's about like 315 days, right? And we had that bearish divergence, right? From here to here, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. Like, what do you see here? Like from here to here, from here to here. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't really pay attention too much to divergences. I think what I'm more concerned, I don't know if it was on the weekly or the monthly, like the MACD crossing over. That's been,
I mean, the weekly we're cooked already. Like that's already gone,
yeah,
right? The MACD is already in the strong heavy red. And then the next thing we have to wait is to see if this one actually, ideally, what we want to see is the 2 week come down here, right? Exactly where the 21 MA is the 70s region that we already talked about, right? Ideally is to bounce here or oscillate around it and then continue. We don't, and again, history tells you the same thing here. Like something like this would be incredible, right?
that could
Right
easily
here, right?
happen.
We can
That's
just
kind of
bounce.
like
It could.
what I want to be prepared for is if we get like really aggressive down, right? Everyone gets stopped out, scared out of the market. It's gonna be you're not gonna have, well, I guess there was like 1 or 2 months that you had to accumulate, but I feel like you should already know what you're gonna buy when things get flushed. Uh,
Yeah, so this was about until the reversal was about 70 days. So it was like about 2 months and 10 days. But essentially, do that here. And then and I'll give you the other scenario. If we break that 21 MA and then we can't reclaim it, that's the perfect example of what happens, right? We can't reclaim it. So that's it. I'll leave it at that. Nothing has happened yet. So I mean, we still have to see what happens in the next few months. Now, in terms of setups for I am getting ready to long, whether that's in a month or two. Like I already have levels to look at, right? Short-term levels, long-term levels, whatever, right? And then back to your question with alts, yeah, definitely looking at Solana, definitely looking at Doge, Sui, Hype, and Maker, right? But before we move forward, I do want to talk again about our Telegram group, guys. So we had this set up a few days back. I believe it was February 24th, right? We did talk about exactly this scenario on our stream, on our last stream, which was, I believe, February 16th was our last stream. And I mean, it's pretty simple. We talked about it, right? Coming down here, which is exactly what we did, retest this region. I had multiple buy levels here. You do want to do that, right? You want to have buying
that's
regions
for
as the
Sol,
price
right?
goes up and then
For
eventually
Solana.
bounce. Yeah, this is for Sol. Correct. Yeah. And then, I talked about, the retest at 177 to 184 range. I scooped up all the way to 180 and didn't get to like 184. And then opening a short down to the 140s and possibly 115 region, right? And that's exactly where we are now, right? I gave an update here on this trend. We actually came all the way down to 131 on this short, right? So guys, again, we have longs, we have shorts. So please make sure to join the Telegram for these cooks. But back when we talked about Solana a few weeks ago, I did see this range here that that's what gave me this whole idea, right? This is also sort of a double top if you think about it, and I'm looking to see Solana at these levels of of 115 or like 120 to like 115. I actually have a buying order at around 115. The lowest of the lows you could see is maybe a wick all the way down to 109 and possibly 100, right? So I mean, again, we'll talk about it once the time comes, right? And we need to discuss that. But there is this. Let me just get rid of this. There is this level here. There is this trend that we had. I think I moved this one, but we broke a trend, right? We broke a few trends. We broke the trend from all the way. Uh, Solana. Okay, yeah, this is weird. We broke this trend from October, right, all the way up to here. So we broke down from that trend, and there was this other trend that I was looking at. And you know what? So it's not that messy. Let me just look at a brand new um, chart. All right, so we broke this trend from here, right? Boom. That was like if you see that, that was a trend we broke out. We try to get above it, and then that was the rejection point for that short. So that's one. Two, what I'm looking at for Solana here is this right here. Look, we broke down out of this trend. One, two, we couldn't hold, right? And I'm personally looking for. I mean, I think this one already got rejected. That's a rejection level for me. Uh, Possibly looking to short. I talked about it yesterday in the group to short at around 160 if we held at 140, right? This trend right here, but we didn't. So then that means that we came down through support and we just kind of wicked all the way down. So that essentially changed my short entry to the 150s, which kind of adds up with that trend, right? If we don't hold here, right? If we get rejected here, then we just continue to go down. So I'm looking at the 150s at most, possibly 160s for the continuous short. And I'll explain to you why I'm still looking at a short and it's not looking too good. Um, Oh, first of all, yeah, the 2 week is cooked, and we're the 21 MA. We're like way below that, but let's look at the monthly. Yeah, that monthly looks like the 21 MA is at around the 120s, which is ideal. This is a support region where I'm looking for a bounce, but we still haven't come all the way down. The moment we come all the way down and we flip, and if we can hold these levels, maybe go sideways in the regions of 120 to 110, that area, and we can continue from there to go on higher, right? Maybe do like a double bottom. But at least for now, I'm still bearish into this exactly that region, into the 120 to 100, right? And then hopefully make some bullish divergence, some sideways action, and then when Bitcoin pumps, then everything pumps again. So back to your question, Henry, like, am I looking for scenarios where I'm going to go long? Yes, around this region for Solana at least. But again, I want to see how everything plays out. I'm not deploying any money. I am playing the short term, long and short term trades, where I see inefficiencies, right? Where I see, well, this is a great place to short, this is a great place to long, and I'm just waiting. I'm not over trading like I was, a month ago. Definitely over trading, but now it's just the market's not giving you what you'd expect in a bull run. So that's that scenario for Solana.
Could it be because we're
What about you?
no longer in a bull run, and we haven't been for the last 3 months?
Say that again.
So you said the market's not giving you what you expect in a bull run, and could it be because
Exactly.
we're not even in
Yeah.
one or in a bear?
Yeah. Could be that, right? Yeah, it absolutely could be that.
I think that's what it
But
is. Like, did you see the screen that I shared and everything's in red? And that's the last 2 months. That is like a bull run to
yeah,
me.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, exactly, which is why again I went cash in December. To me, none of this made sense. It was bearish all around. So there was that possibility that I talked about it in the stream. You would ask me, what if you missed the chance for another leg up? And I said, if there's confirmation, great, I'll just add on to that. But if not, I'd rather stay away.
Yeah.
And yeah, essentially that's what it's showing here, right? What about you? What are you looking at? I have a few other coins that I want to look at, but do you want to talk about another coin you're looking at for long term, or like a play, for example?
Hype. Hype. That's the only one that I've been scaling into, I think. Um, Let me share. But
Yeah.
it didn't hold the levels that I thought it would. Just when everything puked, basically. So, but it is recovering nicely here, back to 20. Let's see what's going on here. I mean, it's still sort of in this range. What's up?
I didn't realize it got to 17. I'll show you something in a second, but holy
Yeah, that
shit,
would have been a
that
great.
was
That would have been a
that's
great
awesome.
scoop. I only had orders like down to 19. I didn't think it would go to 17. Uh, but I mean, similar to Bitcoin, you want to see a reclaim this range. I think a range reclaim would be super bullish here, but it's all gonna depend on what Bitcoin does. And but I think it's still showing strength, like relative to the rest of the market. I don't mind like continuing to add here, but let's see if momentum's kind of slow down here. So still pretty new price action, like just generally pretty choppy. But I still have it in this range. We're gonna get a new monthly open basically, and when we get that monthly open, I'm gonna look like, do we hold above it? Do we trade below it? And basically make the decision to cut because I think I'm a little bit underwater now, but um, overall I'm not too concerned. It's kind of yeah, it's been super choppy, but I like that it took out all these lows here, and probably snuffed a lot of people out. A lot of people that were holding on to the airdrop probably gave up, and that's what this wick was. And now you just want to see it kind of show a little bit of strength relative to everything else. Um, let's see if any fibs came into play here. Not really. Yeah. What do you think about this one? And
Yeah, actually, I was just looking.
more
Go
thing
ahead.
I'm gonna add. One of the reasons I like hype is because there's no buyers in this market, right? But one of the biggest buyers of hype is the protocol itself, the team, the buybacks. Depending on volume and the revenue they make, you have that floor there of you where there's going to be buyback pressure. There's going to be buy pressure in the market, and you can't really say that for a lot of tokens. So it is a perps exchange. It is going to have volume regardless of market conditions. So um, let's see what happens with this one. But yeah, we'll be interested to get your take on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think while you were talking, I picked something up here really quick. But before we jump into that, I do want to share just something kind of funny. There's some guy today uh, that aped 2 million into a look at this into Pope. Uh, this guy aped 2 million into Pope, sending it to 3 billion market cap, retiring a couple of early buyers.
What a hero!
Yeah, look at that. I wish I was in Pope Francis. Look at that.
That's wild, kid.
Look at those. These guys, they bought $300, they sold in 1 million.
Damn.
Gotta love crypto, man. Gotta love crypto. All right, yeah. So, anyways, fun, fun, fun fact there. You can become a millionaire randomly. Yeah. So I was looking at from our last impulse to our last top, and it was actually the perfect 786. Also, it was a perfect retest here on that last pump, right? On that initial pump that we had, and then dump, and then continues. So I think that was a great entry. Didn't even honestly, I wasn't even looking at hype, but that was the perfect entry to continue to the upside, right? There's that, and there is this bearish scenario I do want to talk to you about in case you are hodling, but there essentially like we were holding trend and we broke out of that rising trend, right, which could potentially mean that we retest this area around 21, and then maybe get rejected to then continuously come down. So if you're in it, Henry, I definitely recommend you look at that level, like these levels here, to reclaim it. And if you don't reclaim it, then I'd probably say step out, um, because also the one of the things that I mean, like for us, like this is a perfect example. For us to get back into the green bullish scenario, like we have to oscillate a few times and we get faked out. And every time I see something like this, where the mat, like the two arrows are like they're very far away apart, from my experience looking at different charts, it does take a long time for this to come back again and cross, and usually going into the negative territory, right? Which that's exactly what this looks like. So I definitely be careful there if you're in this one. But just keep an eye on that on here. I mean, to me, like if you see that, that's a perfect retest there, where the 21 MA comes up here, we retest here, and we just continue to dump, right? So look at that specific scenario if you're in this one, and then if we don't reclaim that level, then I not financial advice, but I would say just consider cutting it short. IMO NFA. But yeah, so that's what I see for hype.
Yeah, another one I
For now.
like is because right now you're really only wanting to be in, if you are going to be in the market, you want to be in stuff that you don't mind seeing it sell off 25%, and you're gonna and you know it's a
Yeah,
strong project. So one other one I
yeah.
think is in that category is Tau. Tau was doing
Hmm.
before the market kind of nuked. It was an outperformer among the large caps, and there's a lot of bullishness around like some of the network upgrades, detail, the subnets. You know, it's in the AI, it's in the right narrative. People are bullish on. So that is one I'm looking to scoop as like a bear market potential play and just accumulating
Hmm.
on the lows. Uh, but yeah, it's been a tricky one also.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, this also wouldn't surprise me. Absolutely would not surprise me if we come back all the way to $200.
Lit.
It's interesting because the monthly is like it came all the way down, and this is actually really cool. So it came the monthly's at 136. It came all the way down to 248. So it almost did like a 30% off right there. And then so that's a good region to have there. But if we in terms of ranges, if we talk about ranges, if we like break down from here, if we don't hold these levels, I think we're definitely just going to play this range, kind of like what we did here, right? That range there. Um, but I mean, it does look interestingly bullisher if it holds that the 200 MA. We are below it on the daily. The 3 day still fighting it. The 5 day, I think it's nowhere to be found. The weekly, yeah, it's nowhere to be found. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got rejected off of the 20, like right here of the weekly 21 MA. And we're turning into bearish scenarios again down here. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I want this to hold to continue to see upside. Just hold this trend here, because essentially what we could be doing, this one could be a good long in terms of like for example, like a shoulder, head, and then we're currently making the right shoulder, right, and then it can continue to go. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's not. I like this one. I'd like to see this respect the this region, this support, because we have this support here, right here. I'm sorry, this resistance here, and this became support here, resistance here, right? And so we reclaim that again, and like I don't want to see this
Yeah.
break. If we see more sideways chop, this would be
If it
incredible, and then we
breaks,
just
it's probably
continue
a
to
good
go
short.
high. Yeah, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I really like the hype chart just because of that short. That to me, that one looks like a lot cleaner than this one. I can't get a read on this one. But let's just maybe do this. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe we are doing this. Maybe we just retest it, and we might see a Tau um, pump, right? I mean, we
Yeah. Think about it.
yeah
Like Tau
we
came
re
out in the bear market, and it's like people assume just because it's a bear you can't make money. Like Tau was
Mhm.
ripping in the bear, Caspa was ripping in the bear, Pepe was ripping in the bear.
Right.
There's runners in the bear too. It's just way harder. So if it
Yeah,
has its own
yeah, you're
unique,
absolutely. It's way harder.
if it has its own unique drivers, then it can buck the trend.
Yeah, I know. I think this was a great retest. I think this one looks really good. I mean, the 4 hour. I mean, it's getting rejected by the 21 MA. So I'd like to see us like maybe like a double bottom or maybe like a cup and handle here. But this looks like a clean retest. Not a clean one, but we fake people out and then we're coming back up again. So this is a great region. I think a long right now is not bad, and put some stop losses around 360 for potential. I mean, this looks good. I like it. Let's see the 15. Let's see if we can get a potential long here. Yeah, maybe like come back down here into 3,700. Maybe like flag it out or something.
To
And
where?
then punt along there, so like that, something like this, right? But I would like to see us hold this area right here would be. So I think this area right here would be like a nice region. Actually, let me box this one right here. I think that would be great entry. If we hold that, then I think we should be going higher, because then we're just forming a flag, right? This looks like a nice flag from here to here, and then we can break out possibly from like 380. So yeah, I would say 380 to 375. We come back down. I think it wants to come down and retest that 200 MA on the 7 minute, and then retest it here, go sideways here, hold this area, because again, it's a lot of there's a lot
The
of
7.
support,
Oh,
and then
you're wild. You're on
go ahead.
7 minute chart.
I mean, yeah, if you want to do a short term trade, this is not bad, right? Because this has a nice structure. I like it. Again, this right here is support, 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 support. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see it at around 387, 373. Put a notification in there. Do a quick trade if you guys want a quick scalp for a potential pump to like 400s, right? Yep. I mean that's a quick trade if it plays out, right? But anyway, yeah, I like Tau in general, but it has to hold these levels.
Yeah. Another one I was looking at actually for short was Sui. But I don't know if I think the short might be playing out already.
Do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to show here?
Yeah, I can share one.
Word.
Yeah, Sui.
Do you want to share? There it is.
It
All right.
definitely as a leader, it was one of the first ones that I saw like showing bearish signs, right? And like we did talk about it in the Telegram as well. Yeah, this looks bad. So you have already crossed like similar what we were looking for on Bitcoin. It's in this bearish trend on the 3 day. I think any retest of like
Yeah.
the averages, that's just a perfect like perfect downtrend here to short, probably down to $2 basically, below $2.
Yeah.
You also have kind of like a bear flag here, and it's currently breaking out of it. Uh, yeah, I think this is like if I were to long stuff, I'd probably hedge with something like Sui. Yeah, just very very clean read on that one, clean downtrend. Another one that I'm thinking of longing. We're gonna go into like lower caps now. So there's this project I've been following for a while called Geode. Are you familiar with them, Alex?
Yeah, I think we brought it up on one of our first streams back in October. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, this project like it very rarely. It's not. I'm gonna put it up over here. Actually, it's not like super volatile for a low cap, and it very rarely like gives strong pullbacks. And I was just looking today. They actually announced. I think they raised multiple rounds, and basically what these guys do. I'm playing video on them at some point, but they do super precise real-time GPS tracking, which why would you need that? Well, in the world where the world's going with like bots and AI helpers, basically, they're going to need this kind of data, like real-time GPS data. So if you're thinking about like a long-term trend, a coin that's has fundamentals, I think this is a good one to look at. The chart wants to load. So this is like one of the riskier ones that I'm looking to kind of just start DCAing also. Overall, chart still looks pretty bullish and much more bullish than more other alts in the market, right? Okay, here we go. This is the chart I wanted. So but they have real products, like real customers. Their token, this is what I have to look into, is the token being used dips to the 20s. I'm buying, and I'm just going to assume this is going to hold this uptrend. Also, the support. Am I like a double? I'm targeting 38, 40 cents, basically. So yeah, it's geode.
Yeah, so here, give me a second. Let me pull it up. Yeah, no, I like Geode in terms of the tech. Uh, if you're in it for the tech, I think it's a good one. So yeah, let's take a look. It's this one, right?
That's the one on Sol. That's not all the. That's not the full price history. If the one on with like all the price histories on Polygon.
Oh, it's on Polygon. All right, cool. This
It's
one,
on
right?
both now, but yeah, that's where it first started.
Yeah, man. Look, I mean, this market has been crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think this was a really good scoop. Like great support. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, I mean, this is pretty solid. I think if you believe in this project long term, DCAing anywhere from here to like 166 is great. Anything below 166, I'd be very careful. But this looks good. I mean, yeah, it had a nice little pump from here. I remember we talked about it around here. Yeah, I did like a 3x. Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
this area here overall.
it's not
Um,
gonna do anything crazy, but it's just been like a long term outperformer, right? You're just looking for like safe wins, basically.
yeah, yeah, I think that yeah, this one, if it holds, this one has a great possibility. While we're on Dex tools, let's take a look at Fartcoin. I talked about Fartcoin last week, or yeah, last week. Uh, yep, and I mean, I had this target all the way down to here. Let's go ahead and look at it on the top. I had the target at around 255, but we ended up just going to like 276, right? Uh,
It's looking like it's holding up pretty good for a meme coin during a really bloody, really bloody sell off.
nah, I mean, I don't. I mean, yeah, over the last few days, I
Today,
agree. Yeah,
today,
yeah.
yeah, not
But,
overall. Overall,
well,
it did.
let's look at that. That is disgusting. Look at that.
Christmas tree.
2.5 bill to that thing got wiped off, right? But I like this area in general for accumulation, right? I did draw this purple box for an accumulation zone. I'd like to see, like, if we end up coming lower, maybe come all the way down to like 232, and I would love to see this range, just range bound from here, kind of to do this thing, right? Just kind of range bound here. That would be incredible um, for potential long term. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last, right? I don't know where we are in general. I don't know what's going to happen, but if we
Well,
go
if
sideways here,
Bitcoin makes new highs, it can, I think, at least go back to maybe 800, a billion.
yeah, I could definitely see that. Definitely, yeah. That's a good 4x, maybe 3x, 4x. So there is. I like that. I like that here. There is that potential that we could retest that like 153 on a bad Bitcoin day. And again, these are scoop areas. And essentially, like I have this one on alerts on TradingView, but I also keep it up here just because every now and then I'll just go and look at shitters, and this is one of them that I'm always looking at just in case we could come down to here. This would be a great buy-in as well if again we get down there. So yeah, there's that. Another one I was looking at was Doge, and Doge has been again quite interesting. I have a level at 17 cents. I think that we could potentially hit that. But however, we have been respecting this 19-20 cent region, right? I did take this trade all the way up here. I closed my long around here. It showed a lot of weakness. There was like a nice cup and handle, but never went through. So yeah, then it came down here. I'm potentially looking at these levels around 17 cents. Let's take a look at the macro here. I mean, this is a great retest that it did already, but if we come lower, I could see it down there. Um, yeah, I mean, this is rough in the way these charts are looking. Um, yeah, I would say keep an eye on that region. I mean, again, look, the monthly's coming down too. Like the monthly, it flipped down, and it's coming down. I'd like to see like where this ends up going, right? If it turns at some point. This like I like this MACD because it's looking like it has strength. I like it a lot. Like it's not coming close uh, to it, like crossing into the bearish scenario. But I think this is probably like one of the healthiest ones I've seen as of Doge. Uh, there could be some sideways action maybe down here before we continue to again hopefully get back into more of a bull trend, right? So yeah, I was looking at that. Yeah, what else you got?
Well, let me. Do you have a tensor on there? TNSR.
Let's find out. TNSR. Yeah.
But this one's on Solana though, so it needs Solana to do well.
I honestly, it's probably like one of the nicest charts I've seen in the last 2 months. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you, like, this looks really good. This actually looks really, 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 really good. Look at that. There's that. Then we have a cup and handle. Wow, like this actually this made my day, man. This made my day.
I'm glad I could assist.
Yeah, I mean, oof, look at that. We broke out. Um, let's see. Uh, yeah, I mean, it adds up. I mean, you could see something like that, like a cup and handle retest. This is a 5 day, and it's got a lot of momentum. The weekly, oof, we just I mean, if we close this weekly above the 21 MA, that'd be incredible. Yeah, I mean, this is looking like a good long.
Yeah, and these guys, they started off, or they still have one of the biggest NFT marketplaces on Sol, but they recently pivoted to basically. I'm gonna try this app, and we might make a video on it. But basically, it's called Vector.fun, and it's like a social trading. Like it lets you trade meme coins with your friends, so something like that. I don't know, but they basically did 500 mil in volume, 5 million in fees the first 3 months. So kind of a breakout product, and I don't think that product is being priced in, or it's starting to get priced in. I think that's why it's looking the way it is, but I don't think it's fully priced in yet.
All right. Let me give you some scenarios here. Yeah, it's looking good. So some scenarios would be this. Maybe again, it's big maybe. This could be a flag here, right here. So it could be flagging before it continues, which most likely this looks like a flag, honestly. Maybe come back down here and then continue to rip. But then there is this other potential where we come back into this white box, right? And I say that because we could be potentially making the that shoulder, head, and that shoulder here, right? Uh, but I mean, overall, with the weekly momentum, this looks incredible for a flag. Yeah, to break out eventually to the 72 cents. Yep, adds up. Fill in that gap all the way up to here, maybe then a pullback down to the 60s. I like this one a lot. Yeah. So maybe if we don't break out from here, if we get rejected on the 50-cent level, then yeah, maybe come back down to 40, and then if not, then down here to the 30s, and then I would probably DCA all the way down here if it comes lower, and then I expect this one to rip, right? And that's one scenario. Another one would be we just do a double bottom, kind of like what we did here, right? We there's like these sharp dents, right? Sharp, sharp. This could be another sharp dent, and then we do another sharp here, right? Sharp, and then we continue to like just make another round, which essentially be just a double bottom, right? That would also break out to higher highs. So there's a few scenarios here, but just by looking at the weekly and the stochastic turning, that's incredible. I like that. I haven't seen a chart like that, like I said, in a long time. So there's something there could be something brewing here. Let's see the daily. Yeah, the daily. Yeah, I mean that's look at that. Like we're respecting the 200 MA on the daily, right? So maybe we could see something like this. We could see the 21 MA meet the 200 MA like around here, right? And then we're just flagging it out, and then it retests, and then it just rips from there, or it just goes from now essentially. But this looks good. Definitely a good one to long, man. Good catch.
Solid. So I have this, probably one of the last ones here.
Mhm.
It's a certified shitter. It's below 10 million,
Beautiful, beautiful, man. Like,
and this thing, excuse me. So how we had all those like AI agents and all like they're doing like crypto alpha and whatever, roasting people. This one is one for gambling, which I think is one of the few AI agents that could, like, as a vertical, succeed besides like crypto alpha. Uh, you see this guy, right? Billy Betts.
yeah,
And this thing basically, it bets on sports, right? And I'd say outside of crypto, as far as like paid discords and shot callers, and there's a big market for this kind of stuff. So that really intrigued me, and apparently it's like making money. It was looking like pretty bullish in this uptrend here. It's now broken down, and I think as far as like a setup, I'm either waiting for like a reclaim of 10 mil here, and basically it's kind of a wide stop, but down here at 7, or maybe it comes back down to support here around like 5. Yeah, probably 5-6 mil. It was looking bullish, but now it's kind of potentially bearish if it doesn't reclaim 10 mil. Yeah, what do you think of this one, Alex? This is Billy Bets by Virtuals.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's see, Billy Bets, but is the name just
Or just
Billy?
do it. Just type in
Oh yeah,
Billy.
there.
Yeah, just Billy.
All right, let's take a look at this bad boy. Yeah, so it did break down the trend. Let's put some indicators here. So, stochastics. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on on that on that like a broke down trend. It does look like it's yeah, like resistance, resistance, resistance. And maybe like pops up again. But yeah, I agree with you. It's got to claim the 10 mil and then hold the 10 mil and then continue higher. Otherwise, this thing is cooked. Um, yeah, yeah. Shoulder, head, shoulder. I mean, or just maybe come back down here and do some sideways action. But yeah, I mean, look at the like stochastics returning down. This is not looking as strong for now. Um, Yeah, maybe do a double bottom. That'd be good. A good double bottom here, or maybe just come down to here and then continue to the upside. But yeah, it's not bad. I mean, claiming that level, I think, would be the way to go.
Yeah, maybe the
Like
last
like
one
you said.
last one. If you're wrapping this one up, uh, there's this one called BNKR. It's on base, and it's like one of those like AI. I don't even know, man. It's an AI project,
Yeah, I got you. I got
decentralized
you.
AI,
Yeah.
decentralized shitter.
I mean, this one's looking good, man. This is a good one.
See,
Yeah, I
even
like this one
even
a
in the
lot.
bear, we find the cooks.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, that's nice. That's respecting cup and yeah. I mean, I think this one. Let's see indicators. All right, man. Yeah, so far so good. Two of them. Like they're really good in this like crappy market. Like they're showing strength. Yeah, I like this one a lot, a lot. So first of all, just in terms of like TA, the stochastics went up, right? We came back down. We were at like 40 mil. We came back down to like 20 mil. Um, but look at that. Like buyers stepped in. Like this is beautiful. So they stepped in. Also, if you want to look at it like this, we did a retest, right? We came up, we broke out, we retested. Now we want to continue to go higher. So, and this is evenly, like almost evenly, and we're making like a high in price, even price. That's bullish divergence. That's on a 12-hour. So, yeah, no.
It was basically a retest,
Let's see what we got.
and it's
Yeah,
successful so far.
yeah. So let's just say we are in a sort of cup and handle. Just kind of see where we're gonna go from here. Yeah, I mean, we could see from 30, like maybe like 50 mil. So we could see another 100% from here. And then, obviously we're going to retest that 40. So maybe see something like this, maybe like go up into the 50s, retest the 30s, maybe that trend, and hopefully continue to see a higher high. If not, maybe probably like an M pattern here, and then we dump, right? But those are the two scenarios, right? Higher high. Um, Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Like, what is this
I think it
for it to be
lets
pumping that
it
hard? Like, I,
it lets people. It's like a chat GPT for crypto. Like you type, it does something for you. I also saw it has a feature like if you type something on Twitter, it'll do like an on-chain action for you. Like you tell it what to do on Twitter, and then
yeah, that's
it
incredible.
does it in your wallet.
Yeah, it says buy, sell, swap, place limit orders, and manage your wallet effortlessly by sending. I've heard of. There's a lot of projects that wanted to do this, but I think they were the only ones that were successful at it.
There's projects that like claim they do it, and I think these guys actually have a real working product.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they're the way the chart looks like, yeah,
And then
definitely.
that
uh,
dude
People see.
Jesse, the head of Base, like he posts about them too, and Base shouts them out, so they're getting marketed as well.
Yeah, no, this is honestly two gems there. Yeah, it was Banker. What was the other one? I
Tensor,
forgot.
TNSR.
Tensor, yeah, Tensor and this one are they're looking great. Just for awareness though, like this one, I don't want to break. Yeah, I don't want to break the 21 million market cap on this one. Ideally, we want to hold the 25. But other than that, this is a cook. It's looking good. This one and Tensor. Yeah.
Yeah, solid. I think those are all the ones I
Yeah.
had for now. Um, yeah, there's still some
Yeah.
setups here in this crappy market.
Yeah. In terms of, I did want to talk about Sui really quick. In terms of, so I had this one set up before, like, we worked all the way down here. We came back, got rejected at the 490s or whatever. And then we retested that 786, came back down, and we're pushing again. But to be honest with you, this right now looks like a definite rejection area. Um, and I just want to give some, yeah, I mean, yeah, look, it's kind of like what hype looks like, right? Right. I mean, we broke that trend, and we're just going to come down. And in terms of the target, I think that I don't know if we'll go down to 166. I don't know, but I do. I'm not gonna say we won't, but if Bitcoin dumps and if everything else, I would maybe scoop up. I would maybe scoop up some here in that region, right? And then potentially like do a retest around here, and then we call it for a bear market or something like that. But yeah, there's a trend here. We broke down from this trend. So as you can see here, like we had this trend here, here, and then look, we tried to get back in, but we couldn't. It looked like we were about to, but we didn't. Maybe we do another one like up to here, right? Maybe we retest like we go sideways here, retest here, and then we maybe continue to dump. So yeah, in terms of long, I would look around this area if we get down there, depending on Bitcoin, right? So yeah, there's that, and then Maker. I think Maker was another one I wanted to look at. Did you hear any news about Maker that maybe you could fill us in?
Yeah, they are growing their supply pretty aggressively at the start of the year. So they're a stablecoin protocol, and I think like in the first month they grew 30%, which is which is a lot because they have like billions in stablecoin supply. So they they start off the year pretty strong.
I mean, yeah, the chart says so too. I mean, you're looking at a 200% incoming. Um, yeah, this is. I mean, this is look at that. All right, you see the difference? Like, so. All right, here's another cooker. Um, Look, to me, first of all, that's bullish. We made a lower high in price. I'm sorry, we made a lower low in price, and then we made a higher high on the RSI and on the stochastics RSI. We're about to turn green on the MACD. It's got a lot of momentum, and this is the 2 week. Now, obviously, this would be like a big rejection point, but let's look at the 4 hour. I mean, it is showing kind of bearish divergence here. I don't know, man. This is looking pretty sharp. Yeah, this this is a cook, man. This is gonna do something.
So check out Ave, what Ave did last year. Maybe you can go one of those runs because
That
this
is
is
that's a good point.
this is
Yeah,
like kind of like a blue chip in DeFi, like a Dino DeFi, but it is a product with like product market fit. It's been around. They make money. Like it's a legit project, And I think now with some of the regulations, I mean, the Uniswap, I don't know if you saw Uniswap, they were getting sued
Saw that.
and
Yeah.
that got dismissed. So I think DeFi is one of the few sectors that could also do well.
Quite frankly, yeah. That's what the charts say, at least. Just by looking at Maker, and I mean, this is also looking like a cup and handle. Uh, perfectly tested the 786, also support region. So, yeah, I think some news is coming for DeFi. At least that's what the charts say. Like we're gonna see
There's going to be
something. We're gonna see
some
some big news.
regulation basically, and if the like they have products people are using basically, but the tokens they're useless. They don't pass any value to the token holders. So if they're if they do something to update that, then that could be bullish.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely like. Obvious also looking good, but very bullish on Maker. They whatever it is they're doing something right. Um, yeah, I like Maker.
All right, I got
So, guys, if you're watching this, we have Maker, Tensor, and what was the other one?
uh Banker BNKR.
Maker. Yeah. All right, what do you got?
Check out Athena also. They just had some bullish news. They just raised I think 100 mil to build their own L1.
Anna. It's Anna, right?
Yeah, ENA.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in terms of the chart, it's obviously it looks nasty, but it looks like a frankly, it looks like a great support area to pick up. I mean, look at that. That's what I mean. This is what I want to see. I mean, I think these are have been sped up, but this is what I'd like to see for like Solana and like some other coins for me to scoop up. It feels like Solana's around this area here, and it hasn't gotten lower. Same thing with Sui. So uh, let's see the bigger time frames. Yeah, I think what we may see here is maybe a little bit of sideways before we continue to pop. That's what it looks like. Uh, yeah, so for example, we could see some chop there, right? Up, down, and then continue to go higher. It might take a few months, but um,
Yeah,
2 weeks. Yeah,
solid. I mean, all of
yeah,
those
it's not bad. Yeah,
they're really used products. Then they're making revenue. They're probably going to do some sort of token buyback or value accrual. So all good projects to keep an eye on. And you don't have to buy you don't have to buy it all, but if you are going to buy stuff like DCA, be patient. It's really a market for like patience now. Wait for the setups to come to you.
absolutely. And just to add to what he said, make sure you put your alerts on. Again, alerts are game changers. When you have them and you have a plan and you know how to execute the plan, and you have stop losses, you're taking care of your portfolio, then you shouldn't miss a trade. You should be doing well, right? So
Yep. So I
yeah,
think that covers it today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you're joining the Telegram. That's where we're giving our real time updates. And yeah, let's see where the market goes now.